गुड मॉर्निंग इंडिया एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। This podcast is going live on not only on Gunner Shot but also on some channels of P Gurus. Right, here we go. We're gonna talk of a lot of things have happened today and things are coming into place. There's military action going on. Talks are almost not non-existent at this point of time. You know, it talks seem to be one way. I mean, let's say not much, but action, global reaction, lot of things are coming into focus, and we're going to talk of it. And that's why I said, look, the criticality is Hormuz, the hidden iceberg of Hormuz. Will that iceberg break the Titanic of Trump and Netanyahu? Right, that's what I've tried to portray. But let's see. There are very interesting times ahead, and I'll start because it's going to be a long session, at least a lot of news. Yeah, New York Times. What does New York Times say today morning? Yeah, not great news actually for the Americans. If you're an American, news is not great at all. 12 troops injured in attack on Saudi base. 2 KC-135 refuelers gone. I'll talk of it a little later. Right, US anti-tank mines are discovered in neighborhood in Iran. Okay, so a lot of things are happening. Okay, and then of course you look at it from the Al Jazeera point of view, playing with fire. Iran vows response after civilian nuclear sites are struck. Right. Then look at China, South China Morning Post. No news. It's as if the Iran war doesn't exist only for them. Okay, doesn't. But there are a lot of things happening. So it's like a duck. China is like a duck. A duck, when you see it on a lake, it looks say nice, serene. Underneath it's paddling away. Good, 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 good. So that's China for you. Okay, and then yesterday, let's look at the what all Iran has been up to. Lot of things, lot of things. Iran yesterday, a oil tanker which was passing through Strait of Hormuz without permission hit it. So there's a lot of action. In fact, they've taken two Chinese ships also are not allowed, and we'll talk of it towards the end. And then there's the latest. An Iranian strike has injured 12 troops in a Saudi Arabian base, Prince Sultan Air Base. Okay, and at least two KC-135 aerial refueling planes also suffered significant damage. This is the picture. This is how they were lined up after the strike. Two. Now, but my problem here is one. How can you line up like this? You're in a tactical situation. You know the enemy is going hell for leather for all these bases. They're coming from the thing, and how can you line up everything like a drill square? You have to disperse. You look at some of our, when you this thing, yeah, blast pens and things like that, where aircraft are parked, are dispersed in different angles so that the blast from one doesn't hit the other. Right? They have to be dispersed. How can you put all on a tarmac like this? I think the Americans have been overconfident of their own capability to defend themselves. Look, one of the first things you learn in combat, whether it's aircraft or ground or navy, disperse. Hit the ground. Use ground. And that's what I find very funny, that people are not using ground. In fact, I find the Iranians are using the ground better. They, and I'll tell you as we go along. The Iranian fight is actually very, strategically, they're fighting it out well. These people have a strategy, they're looking at brute force. From a purist point of view, from a military purism point of view, I find the Iranians are doing far better militarily, with the resources they have. There's no doubt about it. On that, I have no doubt. Okay. So this is it. Then, of course, he said true promise 4 and 84th wave has gone by. Right? It's hit. Now he says we are hitting Bubian Island, Kuwait. right? They're using suicide drones, ballistic missiles. Yeah, well, many American Marines were killed, but we know there are not many Americans who were killed. We know that 12 have been injured and things like that. They'll continue. All this is saying. The spokesman has come out and said. But I'll go to this Bubian Island. Where is Bubian Island? This is Bubian Island. This is Iraq. This is, sorry, Iran. This is all Iran. Okay. This is Iraq. And this is it. When the chap Saddam Hussein came, he came from here and to take over Iran, Kuwait completely. But for them to hit this Bubian Island, they're hitting from here, and they have to cut through this to get hold of Kuwait. You see, again, Iran is playing a very smart hand. What do they have to do? What do they have to do to? Why are they doing this? Let me put it the other way around. Why are they doing this? They're hitting at Bubian Island. Look, if Iran goes and captures Bubian Island or some part of Kuwait, Kuwait has got no defenses. Look at the psychological impact. And then, once some part of either Kuwait, Bahrain, or Qatar, these three straits are vulnerable, I'm telling you again. If some part of it is captured by Iran, then the American forces will be diverted to relieve the pressure there. They'll be interested in counterattacking Iran. If I were Iran, Iran is thinking absolutely right. Take over this Bubian Island, then America is stuck. Do they relieve, take forces of Iran out of Bubian Island or wherever in Kuwait or Qatar or Bahrain, or go for Hormuz? And why is this important? And why is this important? Because America doesn't have the forces to carry out a ground operation. A major flaw of the American operation and strategy is that they've gone into this operation without ground forces. Flaw. This is a huge flaw. Iran has to just capture one of this. And then the American ground forces are not going to come here for the next 1 month or 15 days or 20 days. Okay. Hormuz won't be open till then. And American forces will be finding themselves in an adverse situation because they can't evict those chaps because it's in friendly territory. You see the mess America is likely to get. That's why I said Titanic. And the troops which are going to come in from America, they can either do one of the two things. They can either go for Hormuz or they can go for this. As simple as that. Okay. And I think if the Iranians are fighting the way they are fighting, they'll put America in a bind. There will be a bind, huge bind. War is not one way, it is always two ways. The Chinese found it out in Eastern Ladakh. Now this will be the thing. Okay, let's get ahead. Look, yesterday Pezek Shah, he went around the market. Things in Iran seem to be quite normal. I mean, at least he's portraying it. So let's see what he has.
دفاع کردیم در داخل مساجد بارایی که هست هر زمان نیاز بشه به سرعت ما برای خدمات
I don't know what he's saying, but he's in a supermarket which is the stock is full, everything is full, and he's loafing around, he's meeting people. He's portraying something normal, which it is not. But look, this is for internal consumption. And some for external. They're not bothered about what's happening. Okay. So, right. Okay. So, yep, let me put it full back. So, things are very clear how the Iranians are fighting. So, let's not think that the Iranians have keeled over, all that. No, they're not. They are in full control of what they're doing. Militarily, at least now I see that politically also they're getting aligned. I think after the initial shock of losing half the leadership, all that, they come into some grip. How this will shape ahead is to be seen. We'll see that. Okay. Of course, Arakchi went to UN and spoke and said US and Israel have demolished 600 schools, killed 1,000 students. They're portraying a human rights issue. They will. It's in their. After all, that Minab incident has happened. School children have been killed. If some school children have been killed, they're going to blow it up 10 times more, part of propaganda. Okay, this will continue. Of course, Iran will not say that they've killed 14,000 of their own people, but this is part of the propaganda. Okay, and then Tel Aviv, Iran has hit Tel Aviv yesterday. So actually, overnight, a lot of things have happened. We'll come to the other side. It's not one-sided from Iran. Iran has hit that airbase. They're trying to go and they've done something on that island in Kuwait. Very clear pointer. Okay, and Tel Aviv. Of course, the problem in what they've done in that Kuwait island is this: have they given out their hand? If America is smart, they'll rush in some troops and prevent any takeover. The defenses in this Kuwait, wherever, uh, Bahrain and Qatar, they have to be beefed up by people on ground and prevent any hostile Iranian action. I'll talk of it in the end. Okay. Uh, right. Non-stop attacks over the night across Gulf, Dubai, UAE, and Bahrain. Oil refinery complex in Bahrain is on fire at this point of time. We don't know the exact extent. I just picked this up a couple of hours back. So let's see. So Iran is continuing with hitting critical infrastructure. Militarily, Iran is doing a lot, but is it politically correct or not? Hitting Bahrain, hitting Qatar, hitting Dubai, hitting all this is further political alienation. So that is where you see a bit of discordant notes between the political authorities and the military authorities. At one level, you see the politico-military authorities doing well in the military sphere. Politically, Iran is playing its own political game, and I see that there's a military setup which is handling all this. You can feel it because they're going on military targets, military. Where is the political angle in whatever Iran is doing? Okay. Now, of course, there is talk now that these three islands, that is Lesser Tum, Greater Tum, and Abu Musa, which are in this channel, which I've been talking of, right? On and off, I've been talking of these three islands. Of course, this is a Strait of Hormuz. You want to open this channel, you have to get hold of these because the shipping lines go up either side of this. Even if you can't open the shipping lines, the moment you occupy this and block Iranian oil, then the Strait of Hormuz is not one control. It will become contested control. The moment it is contested control, Iran has to come and speak. I've been saying this from long. Today, there is no reason for Iran to speak. They can get hit. They seem to be confident enough to weather it. But what is the leverage for Iran to speak? The leverage is this Strait of Hormuz. It's not Karg Island. Of course, if you can catch Karg Island, you'll get a lot of leverage. But it won't help you. If you get hold of Karg Island, then you are in a pro quid quo situation. I have your oil, you have my oil, let's trade. That's one leverage. The other leverage is this contested control of Hormuz. The contested control of Hormuz is more important strategically because at any cost, Iran cannot control the Strait of Hormuz from international perspective. Okay. Now, how has the Iranian attacks gone on? This is from February 28 to 26 March. Let me make it bigger. Okay. This is analysis. In fact, the data which has come out, this is again Bahrain. Look at it, the spike here. They're targeting Bahrain. Small, tiny Bahrain, next to Qatar, between Qatar and Arabian mainland. Right? Number of drone attacks are increased here, a few missile attacks. Okay. Now look at it, Kuwait. Kuwait in the past 4-5 days, look at this. I mean, don't look at these. Look at this. Right? They've been using ballistic missiles also against Kuwait. Obviously, and today they spoke of that Bubiyan island. Obviously, there's a focus on Kuwait. And the focus is very clear. I told you, if any of this, either Bahrain or Kuwait, that's what they seem to be hitting. If they go, or some part of Iranian forces, so Iran also will have some special forces across this thing. Someone will come, and if they occupy some part of it, then the fat is on fire for US. Whether I don't know whether they're doing it or not, I'm sure US will take defensive steps. But so far, US doesn't, or Israel in this area seem to be a little overconfident tactically. They seem to be thinking, oh, Iran can't do anything retaliatory, all that. Look at what's happened in that air base, where they've lost two KC 35s and they have got about 12 injured, two are seriously injured. Look, 12 injured is not great in a war, but it is next to a body bag. So it's going to make a lot of noise. That's the thing. That's the more important thing. Okay, what has happened in Saudi Arabia? Iran, for all its thing, has been very careful about Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, it's not put a lot of missiles. Just see. The green ones are the missiles. They have not took out Saudi Arabia with missiles. More drone attacks. More drone attacks against oil refineries and all, not against people. They're worried. Iran is little worried. If they get Saudi Arabia into war, they are cooked. I'm making this statement. They are cooked. That's a big country. So far, they've managed to evade it. Dubai is committed with US. Saudi Arabia is fully not committed. They've made statements, but they're not fully committed. And if Pakistan is tail twisted, then of course the whole scene changes. And that probably will be most detrimental to Iran. And that is why Iran is targeting only with drones, and maybe the damage in Saudi is not much. Today's missile attack on that air base is huge. So let us see this escalation where it will pay off. Iran will say, look, this is where I'm hitting US forces, not you. But Saudis might take it the other way. So let us see. Let us see. And of course, UAE. You look at this. UAE has got lot of drone hits consistently. Lot of lot of missile hits. That's why the damage in UAE is huge. Right? I did a compilation of what's happened in Bahrain, what's happened in Kuwait, what's happened in Saudi, and what's happened in UAE. There is an escalation for the past 3 days, 4 days from Iran. On one side we say talks are going on the other side the war is escalating. Targeting is more. Just for the past 3-4 days. That's what I said, 23rd to 26th March. This data is till 26th March. Okay? And if you see, Kuwait and UAE are getting more missiles. Saudi Arabia is the least missiles. Right? Bahrain is also getting hit. So their area of interest, Iranian area of interest, is Kuwait and UAE. Very simple. Kuwait, any part capture, whatever I've been saying, draws the focus away there. UAE has to be hit because this is where American forces are going to come if you have to contest the Strait of Hormuz next month. This month, I don't think nothing will happen. After this month, there's only 4 days left. Nothing is going to happen. And so far, the clear orders to deploy that 82nd Airborne has not come. Though Trump says he's negotiating with Iran. These are the losses. Epic fury. He says top 1 billion, that I'm not too bothered about. We are looking at a 1 F-35, 1 Black Hawk, 3 F-15s, 12 MQ-9s, Reapers, and 1 KCR, and 5 have been damaged. But today, add this because today's thing is not there in this graphic. So it's not as if, USA is not suffering losses. USA is suffering losses and have no doubts about it. It's high time we said, oh, so many aircraft. Trump used to say 3 aircraft, 4 aircraft, India, Pakistan. बात करो भाई अभी बात तो करो. So at the right time we should rub it in, politically. So we know how many aircraft you have lost. America should know how many aircraft it has lost. We know how many aircraft we have lost. We know Pakistan knows how many aircraft it has lost. Does America know how many aircraft it has lost? Okay. Then there's an interesting development which has happened on the other side. This is the first time, and I saw this one clip. A lot of people have used it. And what does it say? There's a chap called Ian Miles Cheong. He says Iran resistance fighters are now fully armed, actively engaged in battles against IRG forces across the country. This attack happened in Isfahan, where resistance fighters successfully ambushed a convoy of IRGC troops and liquidated them. Now, this, if it is true, is going to be a problem for Iran. If some kind of resistance is fomented from within, and these might not be resistance fighters, they might be saboteurs, they might be special troops who are infiltrated. After all, there's a lot of people who will support them. If they've gone and started fighting within, then Iran is in problems. Why? Because these chaps can do two things. One, they'll ensure that the hits on Iranian targets are absolute. They'll direct American forces or their aircraft. Surveillance increases, on ground surveillance, intelligence increases, and then Iran has to start looking within. Okay? Iran has to start looking within. So let's see where this goes. This is the first time I've heard about this today. I've just shown it. The same clip has been picked up by a lot of handles and they're showing it. Okay, I will not say it's gone viral, but a lot of people are showing it. Then, of course, Tehran is being attacked by Israelis. Now, the thing here is that for the first time, pictures from within Tehran are coming out. Now, as per this, he says some satellite jammers which Iran was using, right, they have been destroyed. Which means anti-regime satellite TV channels like Iran International can now beam out them. If the communications in Iran are opened, then the ball game changes. See, communication and internal resistance will force Iran to look inside. See, January, when the upheaval took place of financial thing, and people were out on the streets, Iran could do what it wanted because it's, blanked out all satellite channels and VPNs, all that. They did a lot of house-to-house searches. They, killed that resistance by killing more than 14,000 people and all that. Yeah, you can do that if you're not at war. You're getting hit. You're trying to do something. So how much can you do internally? So if an internal front opens up in Iran, then questions. Okay, questions. Right. And then heavy water facility in Kondab has been hit by US Israeli forces, but what people say is Israelis have gone and hit it. So at some times the Israelis are doing things on their own. And all these happened before the attack on the US base, where that fuel tanker was hit. So there has been some action and escalation, retaliatory escalation. So Iranians have suffered over the night and Americans have been retaliated. Okay, but like I said, there is the needle moving within Iran. That's the point. And Israel has very clearly said we will continue to hunt the leaders of the terrorist regime down. Attacks will escalate. And this is the Israeli style. Leaders are vulnerable. They'll keep doing that. And they've been doing it right from the time they took out that Hamas chap, Hania. Right? Okay. The next thing which yesterday happened, Israeli Air Force bombed two of Iran's largest steel plants, Khuzestan and Mobrak. which is in Isfahan. What is this? Now, what is this? You have to understand. Mubarak K and Khuzestan. Now, largest steel factory. Iran is a steel exporter to neighboring countries largely. That's been hit. What does that signify? Iran's capability to do many things will depend on steel. That's being taken out. It's not fully taken out, that's what they say, but definitely damage is extensive if you see the pictures. But more importantly, what is it? You have to understand. That's why I put this IRGC businesses being targeted. See, IRGC is into every business and significant business in Iran, into all factories, everything IRGC. It's a money making machine. They've controlled the finances of Iran. Okay, now those are being hit, which means the IRGC pockets are being hit. The moment financially you start hitting Iran, not the state can take, it doesn't matter. But people who run the state, their money is being hit, their pockets are being hit. If that is happening, they'll be more vulnerable and they'll start negotiating. So now America has also started playing this game. Now, they've started this politico-military game. Targets are now political in nature. Heavy water plant, this, that, yeah, wo. So what they're hitting in Tehran and all are targeted. So you'll see the shift, resistance, things like that. And these chaps are retaliating back politically. So we'll see where it. But overall, I still maintain Iran is losing politically. Militarily it has the edge. Why it has the edge? It's not because it can do a hell of a lot of damage. Okay. It has the edge because it still controls the Strait of Hormuz. The day the Strait of Hormuz comes under contestation, Iran will start losing the edge. Okay. Right, I've said this. Okay. And then there's a fight against Hezbollah also going on from Israel. They'll not let go. Israel is now being forced to fight on two fronts, which I thought what the Iranians engineered was quite smart. Because if Israel didn't have the Hezbollah front to take care of, Iran would have been probably outmatched by now. Okay. In terms of assets. And of course, US forces continue to neutralize Iranians' ability to project military power beyond its borders, but they're firing. You've seen that today morning. But can it continue indefinitely? That's the question. The question is, can it continue indefinitely? We don't know. So is there an intelligence failure on Iran which people couldn't know? I think it's a total surprise for everyone as to how many missiles Iran has. Iran seems to be very confident of the way they're going around firing war. And they're playing the long game. Iran is, you see, this is the thing which, contradiction which comes. Iran seems to be playing the long game. Does it have the capability to sustain itself in the long game? My view, no. But then why is it playing the long game? Because it probably doesn't have any other choice. America is trying to play the short game because in the short run, America can overpower Iran in a short game. But Iran is doing the other thing. Okay, let's continue. Right. See, all said and done, look at this. This is Bushehr. Right? This place called Naiband. It's a port facility. These are the okay, let me make it a little bigger. These are the facilities. These been bombarded. Look at this. So wherever USA is hitting, whether it's port facilities, all that, it's making a clean sweep of that. Now this is the port. You can see this port. You can see the piers, everything. is useless. What's the use of this when all the support facilities are gone? Which means their ability to dominate the Persian Gulf from here is gone. So if you take out all the port facilities, then their capability to dominate or exercise control over Hormuz is gone. Yesterday I said they have started using, America has started using unmanned, uncrewed boats, remote, for patrolling in the Strait of Hormuz. So there's a shift happening there also. Like I said, if USA continues with this kind of a story, Iran will be in a tough position. So we'll have to see how the sustenance and capability and all that goes. So far, there's no indication that Iran is, you know, can't sustain. That's the point. Right. Now let's look at focus away from the main protagonist. Let's look into the area. Now Abu Dhabi has told its allies that it will deploy its own navy. So are they coming into it? Okay. He says Iran holds their Emirati minister. He said Iran holds Hormuz hostage. Every nation pays the ransom at the gas pump, at the grocery stores, at the pharmacy. Okay. Now if they come in, the equations change for Iran politically in the long run. Even in the short run, their facilities will get opened up. Which so far, it's not a matter of whether Abu Dhabi and UAE can fight. It's a matter of how much they give support, ground support to UAE, USA, as and when the ground forces come. We have time. 1 week, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. My bet is mid-April, earliest. So far, nothing as significant has moved into this area. They must be making their plans as to how to do, what to do, troops to task, training, rehearsal, ये सब होता है. Okay, so people who think that these chaps will come in the air and take over Kargil Island, just forget it. Kargil Island can't be taken over. If these airdrops, people think no, the airborne people will come. You look, any airborne, heli drops or para drops or everything, they have 3 to 4 days sustenance. Uske baad they're dry. You have to give them ammunition. You have to give them food. For that, you need sanitation of that area. You need a bridgehead or a beachhead or whatever you call it. So all those are far-fetched ideas. You have to start minimalistically, back to basics, contested control of Hormuz. Let's see how it plays out. I might be wrong because the Americans might choose some other way of doing it. But if I were the commander there, I will get the home bank, start interfering with air. I will not let Iranian vessels move out. It's very simple. Go to see where Iran is loading oil, whether it is in Bushehr or it's in Karg Island, and say, okay, partner, this vessel, whichever flag you fly, it doesn't matter me, it will not go out. End of story. Okay? So that's how it is. And then it appears there's a rift between Netanyahu and JD Vance. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. This is what Republic TV has pronounced. If this comes into the open and things blow up, then well, America and Israel will lose. If they have a difference of opinion, it comes into the open, they'll lose. Leadership can't be divided, right? Then there's this issue of Houthis. Houthis have not entered the fray because they have a deal. They've got money. They lose a lot of money if they enter the deal, but enter this conflict. But they're saying that, look, might enter. So the Houthi threat is also there. Houthi threat is Red Sea. But I look at it from a different point of view. They might not play a significant role in this. Yeah, oil prices will go up, all that fine. Close Red Sea, close Gulf of Hormuz, the IMEC will come. It will come. People have started talking about it. Yesterday, I mentioned this yesterday also. Then Russia. Okay, Houthis ke baad Russia. Russia has now started willing to trade with US. They said no BRICS currency, all that is gone. Now, if Russia starts trading in dollar, this is the report which has come. Then what? China, they've said no to China, and this war. I mean, they're no to Iran also. They'll give some help to Iran to keep this whole issue alive so that their thing goes up. So they will be the spoiler. They will make money, everything. So Russia is a Pied Piper story है जो मैंने पहले बताया था. Okay. Now this report something. This tweet came out early in the morning. I picked it up. What it says: Qatar, Oman, and Kuwait are pushing behind closed doors for a swift end to the war. They want negotiation, all that. Because they're small countries, they can't sustain themselves. UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain. Bahrain has gone completely with Saudis. Okay. And Saudis have always treated Bahrain as their next province, one more province. Okay. These three say we will not accept a post-war Iran that can use or will control Strait of Hormuz as a bargaining chip. They are very clear. Because Strait of Hormuz cannot be in Iran's hands. Right? It says Gulf Arab states are telling the US that any deal with Tehran should be more than end the war. It must permanently curb Iran's missile and drone capabilities and ensure global energy supplies are never weaponized. I've been saying this now for about past 1 week. The Gulf states are completely with USA, and to that extent, politically, Iran has already lost. I'm very clear about it. Even if there's a agreement deal, these 5-6 states will go completely against Iran. And Iran, to that extent, has played a foolish game because I told you they're playing a military game. Okay, now a lot of damage within Iran. People are in difficult condition, right? I'll not say more than that. This is from Al Jazeera, which says Iran emergency workers search for survivors after deadly US-Israeli attack. So there's a toll being felt, physical casualties in Iran. So what happens to that? There's a limit to which the Iranian people will take this. As it is, Iran is a divided society. And that is why that thing which came out where people are armed resistance coming, and they'll be funded. Funding, arms, will be given by Israel and US. There's no problem. So if that happens, Iran is in a problem. Iran might still lose it because of internal factors. Bahrain says we are ready for an invasion. That's what I said. All these are coming out from multiple sources. It's not one. Right. But at the same time, Bahrain is in a problem. Why? They have got a Shia majority. But the rulers are Sunni. Something like Iraq earlier. There was a political prisoner who was Muhammad al-Musawi who died in custody. And the Shias are up in arms in Bahrain. What happens, we'll see. Again, Saudi Arabia has to send troops and quell them or police or whatever. It happened. This is the second time it's going to happen. Right. This is very interesting. Iran is cutty with Pakistan now. Tehran accuses Pakistan of a double game. Iran accuses Pakistan of aiding enemies. And Tehran is called out Islamabad. Okay. Now, simultaneously, something else happened. In Tehran, the Pakistani ambassador to Iran was targeted by Israelis. And Pakistan has issued a warning to Israel. Right? We will sort you out. So just think, Pakistan, which is with Saudis, all that, and trying to end the war, If it ends the war in a favorable situation for US, it's a favorable situation for Israel also. Pakistan is defending them and doing everything that its best to support Israel. Now Israel is killing their envoy, and this chap says, "I will fire there." If he fires on Israel, what will be the state of Saudi coalition or whatever you call it, that defense pact? What will be the equation between USA and Pakistan? So this is getting into a bugger's muddle. And Pakistan is getting squeezed from both sides. And we'll talk of Pakistan in the evening. Pakistan is getting squeezed from both sides. That's the important thing. And today, Shahbaz Sharif also has come out with a huge statement, 12-minute statement. They are in a very bad shape. So, what happens in Pakistan, we don't know. If the situation worsens in Pakistan, people might be out in the streets. Then Asim Munir has to run. Will that situation come or not is to be seen. We'll see. Okay. Now, a lot of talk on water and desalination and all that. Okay. So, yeah. So, but there's a clip out which says how much water security UAE has built into itself. So I'll have a look at it. It's very interesting. Okay. It's very, very interesting.
If every coastal plant stopped working. Dubai also has another 6,000 million gallons stored underground through its aquifer storage and recovery project. That gives us another 90 days at 15 million gallons per day. But here's the part that most people didn't even know. The Tuwalih plant in Abu Dhabi produces 200 million liters per day, and it has its own 70 megawatt solar field. Even if the regional gas grid gets disrupted, this plant keeps making water using the sun. The Ministry of Economy also confirmed that we have 6 months of food ready in warehouses. And if you're worried about the money, the UAE government holds assets equal to 184% of its GDP. With the trust in our leaders and their vision for this country, the beacon of light is brighter than you can ever imagine for the UAE.
This is second or third video which has come out of UAE. Now, what I've seen in the past 3-4 days is UAE has stepped up its information campaign and public opinion campaign and influence ops. They're doing it. Now, what does this convey? 2 things. One, UAE will support its citizens for water. So that hitting desalination plants and all won't affect UAE. And I'm sure these are with everyone there. That's my sense. That's the first thing. So Iran hitting desalination plants might not work. Now that's the thing, right? So Iran has to rethink. So the 2 messages, confidence to own people and saying that, look, that trick of hitting desalination plants is out of the equation. So they're doing a smart thing, UAE. And, in this entire thing, I think a public information campaign is what USA lacked from the beginning. If they were going to do a bombing, all that, the public information campaign of convincing their own people why Iran was bad, how Iran is bad, it should, have been taken up. After all, Iran has got a lot of problems there. And look at their activities of killing their own people, killing others, proxies, October 7, Hezbollah, everything. Now, that campaign was missing. And that is why, USA is not understood whether within USA or outside. That's like what people have been saying. US has lacked strategy. How to go about this whole story. Look, we will understand it best. We did what we had to do in Sindoor, but we couldn't communicate. We lost that communication battle. Of course, now I have always argued, this is my argument, I'll spend a little time on this. In Sindoor, we did everything to hit Pakistan and bring them to their knees. But we lost our communication battle. Fine, no problems. We lost it. But that is the information battle. But I had analyzed it for a book on Opsindor with clause, and I had analyzed it. The long-term cognitive effect will change. The cognitive war is imprinted on Pakistan's mind, people's mind, that look, India can punish them. It will happen slowly as people analyze all that. And it's happening. So similarly, in this case, the information war, is coming too late. The cognitive war that defeat the enemy mentally beforehand, US should have started long back if they wanted to do this. US and Israel, they went pig-headedly into this whole story. That is why the problem. Okay. Now let's get back to the presentation. Right? Yeah. Now, 1 minute. I have to take out this thing. Sorry. Yeah. Now there's yet another thing which is coming up. A major issue. Food security. If the Strait of Hormuz is closed, food security will be affected. Of all these Gulf countries, how much stocks will they have? Okay. For us, it's a great thing because you have an opening to do what you have to do, influence. But the fact is that the closure of Strait of Hormuz is no longer a Gulf crisis. It's a global food emergency. Why? 30% of the fertilizer is trapped there. Food can't go in, fertilizer can't come out. Right? Just think of this. I mean, this is what I said. Food can't go in, fertilizer can't come out. Then where does it leave people? And China has said no. Tomorrow I'll talk of that. Tomorrow's thing, update or analysis. So there is an issue globally. Okay. So how long will food stocks last? We don't know. Here, India has the leverage against Iran. Iran needs rice from India. We can tell them, yes, start talking, otherwise we'll not give you rice. Of course, at this point of time, the pro quid quo with Iran is oil, rice, or whatever. We've helped them. And they, like I told you, India is the only person who can speak to Iran. And we'll talk of it a little later. Okay. And then, this is an interesting thing. Yesterday, the Iranian blocked the Chinese ship. Right? Have a look at this thing.
75% of Chinese fertilizer is now banned from
the fertilizer market. Nearly 1/3 of the world's fertilizer exports go through the
Strait of Hormuz. Okay, this is about fertilizers.
This key agricultural supply is facing a crisis with direct impacts on the spring planting season and global food security. So how is agricultural powerhouse China, who's also a major fertilizer exporter, juggling it all in this situation?
So what has happened is China has said, I'll not give you fertilizers to everyone. So you see how it will go. China will say, I'll take care of my fertilizers, I'll not give it to you. That's fine. But overall, China is going to get bad thing all over. Yeah.
Try to secure safe passage. China's
Look at this.
Cloud relationship between Iran and China, not exactly. Iran turned back 2 Chinese container ships trying to transit the Strait of Hormuz, even though a top Chinese official tried to secure safe passage. China's top chip maker under scrutiny. U.S. officials say it has been supplying semiconductor equipment to Iran's military for about a year, despite existing sanctions. Escalating tension.
So, you have a look at it. SMIC is going to come under problem despite sanctions. Their ships are not going through. They're denying fertilizers. Where does it leave China? Globally, people will not have any good opinion of China. So China is losing the information war and all that, public opinion, which they're supposed to do a 3 warfare strategy and all that. But most importantly, now Iran has stopped yesterday 2 Chinese ships. This is getting reported in Chinese, this is Taiwan media. They are also drumming it up. Whatever is said in Taiwan is seen in China. But the moot question is, I have been saying, China will not support Iran. Why is Iran stopping these ships? Because China is not supporting them. China is not supporting Iran, so Iran is not allowing the ships. Isn't it a very simple equation? So I hope you people understand what I've been talking. Many people said, no, China is fully supporting Iran. Is it so? People say, no, they're getting navigation aid. Is it so? Look, they're using the Baidu network. It's like Google. With Google, on Google lat longs, I can get the location of any place. I know every place. I just have to sit over it. Every facility I'll know, and corroborated with local intelligence, I can get a picture. Bidu gives them the same picture, nothing more. So, China is not doing anything to help Iran. The grid system, yes, that's also not help. When you operate on a grid, that grid, the geographical grid on which Bedu operates has been transferred to Iran long back. The moment you start using a navigational system, after all, Google is giving us navigational aid. If I have to go from here to Bangalore, I have to use the Google map and go. Same thing for Bidu. So if I have to get onto the navigational grid of Google, I have to use the Google grid. Anyway, that's a technical thing. Maybe one of these days I'll explain. Because being a gunner, I understand what this nonsense is all about. Okay. Right. Let's get back to this whole story. Right? Yeah. Let's get back to this whole story and the presentation and take things ahead. Sri Lanka is in a problem. Rationing on, we know it, and it's only getting worse as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. Philippines is in a mess. They are running low. These are all right. But look at India. Let's focus on India a bit. 5-10 minutes on India, and then I'll not take too many questions because I have to go out. I have to right. For some reason, I have some work official. 4 Indian vessels have crossed Hormuz. A spokesman's person has said. So things will start easing in India. So people in India shouldn't panic. Even, in fact, 7 days back, I booked a cylinder and it came on time. I mean, it took a week, but it's come. It was delivered yesterday. So there's no panic. For households, there's no panic. Don't panic. Yeah, restaurants and all have a problem. We'll talk of it tomorrow again. I'll talk of this tomorrow. Okay. Right. There was a G7 meet where our foreign minister has met the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia. So there's a coordination going on. And the G7 meet, our foreign minister was there, and so things would be coordinated at the G7 level also. It was held in France. So slowly and steadily, the political weight against Iran will start falling. Okay. And this is a very interesting tweet. I failed to get hold of the clip to see what the chap says. But let me read it out. He says, it's very positive that Prime Minister Modi, who maintains good relations with all sides, is reaching out to encourage de-escalation. But India can do much more. Given the severe impact of the Strait of Hormuz closure, it is time for a new player like India to bring parties together and to engineer an agreement. At present, a ceasefire seems unlikely as both sides believe they can still deliver a decisive blow. India, as a mature and experienced nation, could play a critical role. So the global calls are increasing. People are coming out to the opinion that it is India alone who can do all this. And so all those fools in India who've been saying, oh, Pakistan has done this, they should chill pill. Everything happens at its time. Even for a baby to be born, it takes 9 months. Relax. We are in the pole position. Right? And now there's a new thing which came out yesterday. Government is planning to do this business with all Gulf countries in local currencies. I mean, I wouldn't say it's new. This was on the offing, but I think it's getting revived, so that you are not completely tied to the dollar, and dollar flows don't get stuck, because a lot of action is taking in the dollar flows. And then yesterday in the parliament, Mr. Hardeep Puri, who's our petroleum minister, gave a very clear idea as to how we have 74 days worth of petrol. I mean, when I won't say petrol, fuel, diesel, petrol, everything. He says there are strategic reserves in underground caverns, stocks held by refineries, fuel on floating storage at ports. Floating storage is ships waiting to disgorge. So overall, he says 74 days. We are not in a problem. Then something very interesting has happened, which I've been talking of. I said fuel prices in India will not rise. We need not rise. Look at this. Government reduced central excise duty on petrol and diesel to cushion customers from rising global crude prices. They've done it. That is why the curbside. See, your petrol today in Chennai is 101 rupees or something like that, or 180 paisa. A few days back, it was 105 paisa, something like that. Something like that. It's in the range of 1 rupee. Okay. Uh, Government has said we have reduced excise duty from 13 to 3 rupees a liter, 10 rupees. So government is taking a hit of 10 rupees. On the same day, government reimposed windfall taxes of 21 rupees per liter on diesel and 29 per liter on aviation turbine fuel. Just think. They've absorbed the cut of 10 rupees and they've got additional 21 rupees or 11 rupees. So in this whole story, I told you, in the beginning that India will laugh its way to the bank. It's happening. It's happening. So what will happen? The chap who's from outside, see, Reliance will buy petrol at X cost, or not petrol, it will buy crude at X cost. Okay, and will sell to the government at X cost, whatever thing. But government will take a hit of 10 rupees. Fine. But Reliance will sell that X plus refining capacity cost to outsiders, whatever the market rates. And they'll pay the government 21 rupees per liter. So government is giving you a subsidy of 10 rupees and earning 21 rupees, and government is making money. I'm happy. Isn't that great? You're not being affected. You're getting everything. There's no chance of petrol shortage in India, and you're going to make profit out of it. Yeah, happiness. And this will continue for the rest of the year. That's the minimum. Take it from me. Okay? Which I've said right from beginning. So I'm proved right. At least for this sake, put thumbs up on what I've been saying. Okay. Then there's some chap who said, Michael or Rohosa, I don't know who it is. Okay. He says, India to Iran, no permission needed. Navy deploys 7 warships to protect vital routes. India has drawn a firm line against Iran's pressure tactics in Strait of Hormuz. This is the global chatter which is going on. New Delhi made its position clear, and this chap is not from India, he's from abroad, this handle. The strait is an international waterway under UNCLOS rules, no permissions, no crude disclosures, no protection fees for Indian vessels. And Indian Navy has launched an operation Urja Suraksha, deploying 7 frontline warships, including destroyers, across the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. The mission is straightforward: escort Indian oil and LNG ships safely through the high-risk waters. No posturing, no hesitation, just strategic autonomy backed by force. India is placing its navy exactly where its energy security is at stake. This is what I picked up in the morning. And he's right. Look at this. This comes from some Arabian nation, which comes from Bahrain. We give what we love. Indian Kashmiris on donating 18 crores to Iran as aid during war. Meanwhile, in Bahrain, people are saying anyone who is loyal to Iran should go and live there. In Bahrain, people are telling this. And here, our Kashmiris are giving 18 crore to Iranians. Just think. Did they give even one naya paisa for to our soldiers? This is what I don't like. And I must call them out. Why didn't you give anything during Op Vijay and during all those years? On the other hand, the Kashmiris went against the army. The same guys are collecting money and giving it to them. They sucked the Indian state. Yeah, we have given them everything. And they're giving it to Kashmir, Iran. What is this loyalty? Are they loyal to India or loyal to them? I just thought I'll put this in perspective, right? So that we have a clear idea as to what we are talking of. Okay. For those of you who've forgotten where Kuwait is, ye, wo, and all that, I'll just show you a map. See, that Bubiyan Island is here. Okay. This is Kuwait. And Bubiyan Island is somewhere at the mouth. I've just shown you. So, if Iran gets hold of Kuwait, people will have to run towards Kuwait and the pressure on Strait of Hormuz will ease. They're hitting Bahrain. Bahrain is between Qatar and Saudis in the wedge. That's why I said, Iran is playing a very smart game. They're using leverage, counter leverage and counter leverage. So I leave it at that. Okay. And that's all for today from my side. I'll take a few questions. I'll not be able to take too many because I have to go out, like I told you. Right. And yeah. Can you make a show on Israel? Those guys have been in the shadows since war started. Trump is getting all the press. What are they doing? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll tell you. I'll do it. But today evening, I'm going to do on Pakistan. Join in. I'm going to do on Pakistan a wholesome thing on Pakistan, where Pakistan is in the war, what Pakistan in Afghanistan, everything. And what do Pakistanis feel? And after today, that fellow has given out a 12-minute video saying, "Yaar, mere paas to kuch nahi hai, main nanga panga hu." Thanks a lot for the super sticker. And also, thanks a lot, Political Wiki, for joining. I think you're rejoining. If I remember, you were there earlier also. Yeah. So, a lot of questions. I'm getting flooded. That's the whole problem. That's why I've been seriously thinking of, going for a members-only live show. I'll try once. What I'll do is I'll make a members-only show so that I can take questions from all the members. And immediately when the show finishes, I'll, declassify it or put it for public. So you can see it as a video with a lot of questions, but questions will be from members. You see why I'm thinking of this. Let me also be very the questions are important because I have said what I wanted to say. The questions are important for me to open my mind. You people, your questions, make me answer things which are not in a focus, which I must answer. So that's why I thought, I'm thinking of it. Let me see if I have to do it today, tomorrow, whenever I have to do, I'll do it. But I'll do one to get an idea as to how to take it forward. But today evening, Pakistan, it will be open to everyone. Join in. Only problem of now being open is so many questions are coming, I'm not able to handle it. That's the thing. Okay, with this, thanks a lot. Join me in the evening around 8 o'clock on Pakistan. Iran war and whatever. Have a great time. Yo. So here comes Munir School. Yeah, Iranian tunnel strategy similar to Vietnam. Why not? Why Vietnam only? It's also Gaza. It's also in Gaza, isn't it? That's how it is. In Gaza also they had this tunnel strategy. Right? So that's how it is. Yeah, you're right. Vietnam tunnels were different. This is a little different. Okay. Right. With this, thanks. Have a great time. Till evening. Jai Hind to all of you.